Welcome to my channel. I am Curtis A. Merriweather Jr. And as many of you guys already know, in 2020, I was named a game changer by the White House Policy Advisor for Entrepreneurship and Innovation. Now, the purpose of our channel is to help entrepreneurs overcome common business challenges by providing consultation, education, and training support. Now, we're unlike other channels because I've been at this now for 26 years. So not only do I have practical experience, both working for as well as in support of the federal government as both a federal civilian employee and as a government contractor, we also have a doctoral education in business. So that's what kind of makes our channel unique. Now, today, I have a very interesting topic for you. Today, we're going to discuss the 5 major mistakes to avoid in government contracting. Now, let me say this. We have something in government contracting called the FAR, the Federal Acquisition Regulation, which governs contracting actions across the federal government, which is why I have a bias for federal government contracting because of the standardization across all 50 states, U.S. territories, and any forward operating bases that the U.S. government occupies. So I'm a little biased. But today we want to talk about the 5 major mistakes to avoid in government contracting. Now, the things I'm going to talk about can just be applied to business in general, okay? But I want to focus on government contracting, but these are just great business principles as a whole, because our job is to create strong, sustainable, vibrant businesses that hopefully can outlast us, or we exit to sell at a later point in time for mass financial gain. Okay, so without further ado, before I even jump into my topic, many of you guys know I am a PK. I'm a son of a pastor. And so I remember growing up in church and I would hear this famous verse is, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. This should give you some indication of what we're going to talk about today. So before I even jump in, I want to show this. So what I'm talking about today is very, very serious. And the 5 major keys we're going to talk about could lead to your contract being terminated, which is the least of your issues. I just want to blow this up so you can see it. That is the least of your issues, is your contract being terminated. You could be suspended, debarred, and rendered ineligible from ever doing government contracting again, based on the severity of what I'm getting ready to discuss. So this is the Code of Federal Regulations. This is the FAR. And this talks about subpart 9.4, talks about debarments, suspensions, and ineligibility. And I'll let you read that in your leisure, okay? But this, depending on the severity of the action, at a minimum, your contract could be terminated. But in some instances, you may face suspension, potentially debarment, and or jail time. So what I'm getting ready to talk about today is extremely, extremely serious. Now, let's just jump in. The first thing, this may be a little controversial. Now, I've been on YouTube for a little bit. I haven't been on here that long. As many of you know, we're working to build our channel, and I want you guys to see me. There's been a lot, and I do mean a lot, of promotion for what we call pass-through companies. You may have heard this called as the middleman strategy, where you can do government contracting and other people can do all the work and you can just make the money. I want you to see my whole face. Highly illegal. If someone is encouraging you to pursue this course of action, please run. And I don't want you to just take my advice. I'm going to show you the language. It's up here. So the pass-through or the middleman strategy. This strategy encourages prime contractors to become pass-through companies. It encourages entrepreneurs to not do any work as prime contractors and rely on subcontractors exclusively. If you want to make a bunch of money in government contracting and not have to do any of the work, this is how this strategy is being promoted. This strategy violates the limitations in subcontracting clause. Now, the limitations of subcontracting clause is not new, but it has been stiffened. The language has been stiffened to services as well as product. And when I used to talk about this before, I would normally talk about it from a services perspective. But the language as of October 2022, I'm going to show you the language, specifically forbids this type of action. So if you hear someone talking about a middleman strategy or being a pass-through company, you finding subcontractors and you're not doing any of the work, illegal. So let's show the actual clause. Now I want you to go and look at this in your own time. But in FAR 52, part 219, TAC or dash 14, they talk about the limitations in subcontracting. And I have a brief shot, and you can see it's on the acquisition.gov website. And in this code, and I want you to go look it up, and I'm going to put the links in the show notes because I want you to go and trust but verify what I'm saying. This is not me slinging hate. This is not me coming against any person. I specifically did not mention any names. That's not the intention of this. The intention of this is to make sure you are not listening to so-called experts who are telling you to do things that could get you in deep hot water. So here's some strict language in here. For services, except construction, because you know anything about the construction business, general contractors typically sub out a lot of their work, but they still have to do 35% of the work as a construction company. But that's not why I came on here. You will not pay more than 50% of the amount paid by the government for contractor performance to subcontractors. So we hear someone say, I let them do all the work. If you're giving away more than 50% of the revenue as a prime or as a subcontractor, this is a strict and dire violation of this Code of Federal Regulations, which could find you termination of contract, suspended, and potentially jail time based on the severity of the offense. And the courts will figure out which applies. So that's for services. And notice you say I should get except construction, because in construction, you have to do 35% of the work. But for services, you cannot pass through, meaning you cannot let someone else do the majority of the work, more than a majority of the work, and just get the profit residual. You can't do that. That's highly illegal. So just know the law. All right, for supplies, this is talking about my product people. Say you're not doing services, you're selling products to the federal government. Again, in red, and I put this up here in bold and red letters. So, but again, I want you to go look at this as well. I'm telling you, but I want you to go look at this for yourself, because a lot of people are going to say that's not true. You'll even hear contracting officers who do not know the law tell you that it's okay, and it's not. This language was stiffened. It was always there, but it was stiffened October of this year because of all of the marketing that's being done on social media promoting this strategy. It says for supplies. So these is talking about my product companies. You will not pay more than 50% of the amount paid by the government for contract performance, excluding the cost of materials, to subcontractors that are not similarly situated entities. These are talking about companies that are similar to yours. And again, go read the language. I don't want to turn this into an hour video. I want to get in and get out, but I wanted to spend some time here because I'm hearing this strategy called different things by different people. But if you are subbing more than 50% of the work and doing minimal lifting, this is a utter and direct violation of this clause. Again, this clause is not new, but it was stiffened. Let me go back. It was stiffened, as you see here, on October 2022. This has always been the law. So just be careful of where you're getting your information from. I know some people are just so happy and excited to get their government contracting journey underway, but make sure you're doing it in a legal and compliant method. I can tell you stories about people that I personally know who have went to jail by not heeding my advice. All right, number 2. Now, this should go without saying. I see I got a little error, the N on falsification. This should be a no-brainer. This should be a no-brainer. But pay your employees. Pay your employees. This is a violation. This goes against the Fair Labor Standards Act. You could be suspended, debarred, potential jail. I've seen different permutations of this. This is serious business, guys. So you don't want to find yourself in the gray area. And again, when I started this video, I started off saying that each one of the things we're going to talk about could lead to, at a minimum, your contract being terminated. And the contracts can be terminated for convenience or default. I'll do a whole nother video later to talk about the difference. You could be suspended, you could be debarred, and you could have potential jail time if you do not heed my warning. So I'm just trying to protect you. And that's timesheet falsification, my N, before I get spacing, it fell off. But this is fraud. This is fraud. So run from this. Do not falsify timesheets. If your employees did not work that time, you cannot adjust their timesheet without government permission, government authorization. If you're a prime, you got to get authorization from contracts. If you are a sub, you have to get authorization from the prime. So you have to follow the chain of command. Do not be falsifying timesheets. And you shouldn't have to say this, but you'll be surprised. I know a personal story of someone who did this. They found themselves in financial pressure, and the government doesn't just throw you in jail, by the way. They normally send you a cure notice. A cure notice is how they say, hey, we've identified a problem and we want to work toward corrective action. And so this person, not calling names, because that's not what we do on this channel. This person, and I don't think you guys will know them anyway, but this person did not lie to the federal government. The federal government had proof unbeknownst to them, and they're serving a pretty hefty penalty. Don't do it. It is not worth it. It is not worth it. So be ethical, be moral. I tell people, don't do anything illegal, immoral, unethical, or just downright stupid. And some stuff that people do is just downright stupid. Like they're not going to get caught. But I digress. Let's move on to the next one. We're at number 3. Failure to pay employees. So I'm lumping these kind of together because in the previous screen, I talked about timesheet falsification. Huge issue. Now, number 3, we're going to talk about please pay your taxes, your employees, and your contractors. By federal law, if you're a government contractor or subcontractor, you have to pay your employees, your taxes, and your contractors. Now, this stuff seems basic, but I have to say it because I see people time and time again find themselves in hot water by just not being ethical. And now I understand the time pressure, I understand the financial pressure that comes from having employees. But whatever you do, communicate with your employees effectively. Things happen even to big companies. Communicate, pay your employees, your taxes, and your contractors. Now, when you fail to pay your employees, this is, again, a violation. Matter of fact, I misspoke on number 2. I talked about falsification of timesheets being a violation of FLSA. That's not true. That's just fraud. But number 3A, I broke this into 2 pieces because I wanted to really dig into it. And I'm going to blow this up so you can really, really see it. So you need to pay your employees, your subcontractors. This is a violation of the Fair Labor and Standards Act. Again, go look this stuff up. And other laws, statutes, and regulations, because there's typically more than one. But I wanted to give you at least one. Not trying to turn this into an employee law video. So you got to pay your employees and your subcontractors. You cannot work on a federal contract as a prime or sub and not get paid. It's not. And if the federal government is late in paying you, which happens sometimes, you get paid with interest for their for them being late. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. As if you're a small business, you can probably get something called the Prompt Payment Act, which allows you to get paid in that 15. That's 15 days after the submission of a acceptable timesheet. Okay, so pay your employees, because if not, you may find yourself talking to folks at the state level to enforce this action. Again, let's just avoid it altogether. If something happens in the business, please communicate to your employees, because things do happen, and make sure that you pay your employees. Now, we're still talking about making sure you avoid failure to pay employees, taxes, and contractors. So that was 3A. We want to talk about 3B. You have to pay your corporate taxes. You shouldn't have to say this stuff, but I do. I see people fall into this trap all the time. I'm going to blow this one up as well. If you do not pay your federal taxes, your debt is subject to offset. What does this mean? This means if you have a federal prime contract and you owe the federal government, when your receivable, when your payment, so they're called a receivable, or that's a payment owed to you. A payment you owe someone else is called an accounts payable. When someone owes you money, it's called an accounts receivable. If you have a federal contract, when you register in the SAM, you're providing the federal government your bank account, your routing number, and your account number. Instead of that money being sent directly to your bank account when the payment is owed, the Treasury Department will intercept that payment if you have outstanding payroll or outstanding, let's just call it corporate tax, which is payroll tax and other things. So if you have outstanding corporate tax at the federal and sometimes even the state level, because the state level can report it to the federal government if you're a government contractor, that money can also be redirected to pay any outstanding debts. So make sure that you're communicating with your Department of Revenue at the state level, whether that's South Carolina, Georgia, Texas, Florida, wherever you reside, as well as working out any kind of payment or installation agreement at the federal level to make sure that your money is not redirected. I'm just saying, and I'm just telling you. So again, be very careful where you're consuming information. I want to make sure you're getting actionable, real, practical insight. So I want you to see this. So what this is basically saying, if you have an unsatisfied federal tax liability over $3,500, it is part of the contracting officer's responsibility to make sure that you are a viable candidate for that award. That's number one. Number two, any unsatisfied tax liability can be redirected. Again, I put the clauses in here. Paragraph D, FAR 52.209 TAC 5. Go and read this so you can see I'm not making this up. So go and find the FAR. That's the Federal Acquisition Regulation. I will put a link to the FAR in the notes for this video, so you can go and you can investigate this yourself. All right. Now, moving along, that was number 3. Number 4, this is another big one. Again, I started this live off talking about what happens if you commit one of these 5 acts. Okay. So for this one, misrepresenting your socioeconomic status. This is when you're saying you're an 8A or you're a small business. Small business is a socioeconomic status. So if you're a small business, 8A, woman-owned small business, SDVOSB, service-disabled veteran-owned small business, if you could actually be that, but it has to be verified by the SBA or the Veteran Affairs being SDVOSB. I did a whole nother video talking about certifications. So if you haven't looked at that video on certifications, go back and look at it. I'll post a link to it at the end of this video. Go back and look at the certifications video. I talk about this, but make sure, I talk about certifications, that is, make sure that if you are an 8A, you play in the lane you're assigned to, and don't misrepresent your status. Do not, because your contract can be stripped from you. Now, that can be your size or your status can be protested. And if that protest is upheld, a protest is a big fancy word in government contract parlance where something is challenged. So whether an award proceeding is challenged or whether a size standard is challenged. I talked about size standards in the certification video. If anything is kind of not above board, it can be challenged. And there's a process that you can go through to challenge things. And you got certain time windows to do that. So just know that. I don't want to turn this into any one of these videos could turn into a whole video by itself. So don't misrepresent your status. And it says the following actions shall be deemed affirmative, willful, and intentional. Certifications of small business size and status. Okay. So submission of a bid, subcontract, cooperative agreement, or cooperative research and development agreement reserved, set aside, or otherwise classified. So anytime you misrepresent yourself, that is problematic. Okay. So do not do it. And then last but not least, we talked about here about misrepresenting your, in number 4, misrepresenting your social economic status. So, that's claiming the status that's not really yours. Your 8A, your woman-owned small business, SDVOSB, service disabled veteran-owned small business. Make sure that those statuses are actual, and they should be reflected in your SAM, by the way. So if you're an 8A company, it should be in your SAM profile. And one of the headers should talk about your status. It should be clearly delineated. And if that window of opportunity has passed, so you were 8A and you're no longer, don't be pursuing 8A contracts. If you don't have the status, don't pursue it. It's just that simple. And then last but not least, the size standard. Let me blow this one up as well. This could lead to suspension or debarment, civil penalties, criminal penalties. You're seeing this. Limitations and liability. Again, go read these statutes. And I put the CFR where it came from in each one of these screens I'm showing you where you can actually go and look this up. This is 13 CFR 121.108. Go look it up. And so the real takeaway from this video is don't just blindly follow folks, even myself, who claim to be experts in this space. Do your due diligence, do your research. One of the reasons why I created this channel in the first place is, quite frankly, I saw a lot of information that just wasn't true. And I felt that people, and I'm not saying that the folks who are saying these things are willfully deceiving you. I'm not saying that. I know some of them, shared stages with some of them, and I think they just don't know. But them not knowing and you doing doesn't protect you from going to jail if you do what they're telling you to do. So again, this is not me attacking any person. It's not who I am. But I'm very concerned because I don't want to see you fall victim to excitement. And, I get it. You want to change the financial trajectory of your family. Government contracting changed my life. I understand. But however, there's a way to do things. And I want to make sure you're informed. I don't want to see anyone get hemmed up. I don't want to see anyone ignorantly go down a path only to find out that path was not the path they should have taken. So my goal here on this channel is just to inform you and make sure that you are doing this successfully and ethically, and that you're doing it in a moral way. So one of the promises I will make on this channel, if I say anything ever that is not right, and I realize I made an error, I will issue an apology statement and correct my wrong. I will never on this channel tell you to do anything that will deliberately put you in harm's way. That's my commitment to you. I want this to be a place where you can come and you can get valuable information that you can smartly, strategically, and practically change your family and change your life, because government contracting literally changed my life. So what you're not going to get on this channel is me showing you my lifestyle. Could I? Yes, but I'm not. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to be a safe place for you to get information you can trust. And I'll always try to give you a way to go in and check and verify what I'm saying. Trust but verify. And make sure that before you do something that you're aware of the implications. That's all I want to do. And I understand sometimes when you're learning, you're so much information that you're trying to you're trying to vet what's real and what's fake. And so that's my commitment to you. But back to what we're talking about. So don't misrepresent yourself. And you see here, and again, I want you to go and I want you to verify these things. So we covered 5 things that I want you to avoid. Now, I want you to share, like, and subscribe to this video. And go back and watch some of my other videos. But again, my heart's cry is to be a source, a safe place. I get your questions. I get your comments. There's going to be more content coming. I have been doing this for quite some time. And I just want to make sure that I am giving you guys what you need. So I appreciate all of the feedback. I appreciate the comments, the questions. I'm going to be creating future videos based on those questions because, you know, you've been doing this as long as I have. I've been in government contracting since I was 17. I didn't know that's what I was doing, but I've accumulated a lot of knowledge and things that I sometimes take for granted because I've been doing this so long. I forget how important they were when I got started. So as you guys leave me comments and pose questions, that allows me to create content that you that's going to be meaningful to you. And my thing is, if one person is helped, I've done my job. And I want more, of course, more than one, but I want you to get it. You know, I got courses I'm teaching, but I'm not driven by trying to sell you a course. And that's why I give information away so freely. I recognize people are in different spaces. And when I got started, I didn't have money to spend $2,500 on a course or $1,900. I just didn't have it. So one of the things I do on this channel is I teach the things that I don't teach in my course, which, you know, we didn't want to create a 100-hour course. We wanted to create a course that you could do in about 20 hours of dedicated effort, get through it, digest the information. And that's what we've done. But there's a lot of content. There's a lot of things I can talk about, but it's not about me. I want to make this video series informative for my listeners. I want you to be helped. And whether you spend a dime or not, I just want to provide actionable information for you. Again, if you want to take a class with me, great. I am going to be running some mentorship specials at the beginning of the year for those who maybe been in the space for a while and you just, you know, you've been in the space for a while. You might be stuck. You might not need a class. You might just need some strategic coaching or some mentoring to get through a sticking point. And for those that are brand new, you may actually want to take a course, and that's fine. But my goal is to provide a lot of things for a lot of people. A lot of the stuff on YouTube, of course, is going to be free. If you want to work with me directly, you can. I'll make that more available at the beginning of the new year. And for those who are brand new and want a trusted source, I teach a way for you to get involved in government contracting without proposals. But I don't want to turn this into a long video. I want you to go and I want you to watch other videos, and I want you to stay engaged, keep watching the videos, stay plugged in. And I look forward to walking with you either virtually or directly in your government contracting journey. And I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Until next time. Entrepreneurs overcome business challenges by providing consultation, education, and training support. I know you've heard about the multi-billion-dollar government contracting industry. In this course, I will teach you how to find an abundance of contracting opportunities without writing a proposal. This is the same strategy that I've employed to win billions of dollars in contract opportunities since 2010. You'll learn a 7-step strategy that's proven and it works. I will teach you the fundamentals needed to find immediate opportunities without writing proposals. Our techniques are proven, safe, and legal. Take the first step, join our 8-figure GovCon email list, and check out our course offerings today. Register today. Your financial future may depend on it.